Hello everyone. It is another great day for a Max 9 tutorial. This is tutorial number 31, Jitter Effects 3, multi-input. And our example today will be Chromakey. So what are we up to? We are, there we are. We are trying to learn jitter effects that have both multi-inputs, let's say our videos, but also have might have interesting ways of hooking them up. So let's see here. Where was that? There we go. I have a humorous idea here. So let's just get right to it. Type the letter J. Type P window. P window's already there. Oops, there we go. There we go. I hold the Shift key down when I resize these so that you can stay in scale and we'll also be able to see them. And then I'll just Option click, drag, and I get a whole new one there. Shortcuts are so wonderful. Alright, so our effect today is Chromakey. So just type J, and you get the JIT, and then CH, and you've got Chromakey, pops right up there. There we go. All right, so Chromakey is a multi-matrix effect. So we can see that matrix number 1 comes in here, and matrix 2 comes in here. So we're going to run those down there, as we should. I always run them directly from the little video players, and then we'll get another P window by hook or by crook. You can type J and make a new window, pushing down Shift. There it is, all nice and in scale. And there it is, and you could almost hit the loops and play them both, but you would only see one of them, because what JIT Chromakey does is that you pick out a color in here and you make that color transparent in Chromakey, and then you can see the other video that's right behind it. Essentially, Chromakey puts one video, this one, in front of this one, and then makes some particular color that's on this transparent. You're probably most used to this as a green screen because it's a weird color. You make all the green transparent, and then you have this, which is a movie of your background, and it shows through. Let's figure out how to send the parameters that we need to Chromakey. So we're going to highlight Chromakey. We're going to go over to reference. If you're in Inspector, you need to go down to reference here. And then we look down here and we say the inputs that we need for Chromakey are going to be color and then tolerance. That tells you how far from the exact color that you picked it'll accept as that color, essentially. There's a lot of other possibilities here for advanced stuff. One of the useful ones is fade, and it's useful in that it allows you to sort of fade the edges of stuff. I'll see if I have time to throw that in. But so we're going to put a prepend with the word color and also a prepend with the word tolerance. So let's get to it. Prepend color, and then another object here, N, and then prepend tolerance, TOL, just TOL, remember? And we put those over here near Chromakey, and then we start figuring out, well, how are we going to decide on these? I will just tell you that tolerance is going to be easy, but all we need for now is a little float box and we can experiment with it. So I'm just going to type an F here. And that's what's going to go into tolerance. And then for color, sometimes it's nice to have a swatch around, so let's get one. And then we can decide on a color. Nice. However, we are faced with one of those weird moments in technological advancement here. Let me just make a message to demonstrate what has happened. In the old days of video, or I should say at least as old as Swatch, the color number is put out as RGBA, 4 numbers. And so we're going to go over here to something quite red. And you can see that this first one is almost 1, and it only goes from 0 to 1. So there, you could essentially call this a 1. And it has absolutely no green in it because it's pure red, and it has absolutely no blue in it because it's pure red. And then this is the alpha channel, 1. Well, let's make sure that we're right about this and go to something greenish. Can you get more green than that? Maybe a little. That started getting blue. Well, you see, almost no red, 0.955 blah 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 green, 0 amount of blue, and 1 alpha. Alpha just means opacity. And then here we've got the same thing kind of going on here. We've got, let's back off the red there a little bit more. There we go. Look at that. 0, 0, and 0.97 for blue. And of course, here's the A for alpha. Now, when the numbers go in here, it has to be alpha first, then RGB. It's a pain in the neck, but we can do it. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to unpack the list coming out using the unpack object. Unpack. And then we say 0 point space, 0 point space, 0 point space, 0 point for all 4 of them. And we connect it up to that outlet. Okay, we can get rid of this now. Keep it over there so we can watch it. And then we're going to pack it into this color, but we're not going to pack it, we're going to pock it. Type an N and type P-A-K, no C in there. P-A-K, and then sort of the same thing, 0 point space, 0 point space, 0 point space, 0 point. And we're going to shift them over just like you would almost expect. So this, which used to be red, is now going to go in the second outlet. Green's going to go in the third outlet. Blue's going to go in the fourth outlet. And alpha needs to go in the first outlet, which I think would be fine to just put it that way and it'll probably work. But let's make sure it actually works by putting an object here that's going to translate that. So here it is, new trigger 1.0. Okay, so whatever comes out of here is going to go into trigger and send out a 1.0, which is what we want for alpha. No clear numbers for us, thank you. So do make sure this is PAC, P-A-K. P-A-C-K will probably not work anymore here because by the time this number gets out, these have already been, this number gets out first, sends whatever was already there, and then these numbers miss the train. So you got to use PAK. It'll send out 4 separate messages, but the last one will be right. So here we go. And we connect that to color, and let's see if it actually works. The ball is, well, I guess white is really the color that we want. So we'll just go right up to white and nothing happens. And that is indicative of there being an absolute 0 tolerance here. So let's turn our tolerance up a tiny bit. Oof, 0.1. So at 0.1 tolerance, we already are just fine because white is so distinctive on this particular movie, right? So and it's so let's just sort of see. I don't know if everyone knows this, but with these float boxes, the further to the right that you click on them when you drag, the more accuracy you get. So you see, like I went all the way over to the right and I got 3 digits of accuracy, right? And then I can keep going 0.5, and you notice we've gotten rid of all the edges of the ball are now, they're nice and clean because they're so distinctive here, but it's probably because of anti-aliasing, they call that. Curved things on a screen that's pixelated, that we're getting that. So this is one way to adjust it, but we're going to hold off on tolerance because we're going to swap movies right now. And the reason is because this gets more complicated than as you get things that are less simple. So let's get a helper for the B here, and we'll call it the dozer. So we drop the dozer in there, we turn on the loop, and we play it. So now, oh look, working perfectly. Never mind, everything works just fine. The question is how, oh, that's because this has a white background too. But what if you wanted the clear part to be the yellow arm? You could go kind of looking over here at yellow, and did you see what happened there? Now, anything that's close to that color of yellow, you can now see through. Wouldn't it be really nice if we could just click on the picture here at the color that we actually want, and then that color would come through? Yes, the answer's yes, we can. So I'm unlocking my fat patcher, I'm typing N, and I'm typing the word suckah with an H. Okay. And what they mean is it's like a sucker, like a droplet, right? So what sucker does is you put it over, well, just about anything. I'm going to make it extra big so that you can see it more easily. So, and also that way we can make sure that we get the right outlet, not the movie outlet, but this outlet. And we can run this directly over to the swatch. Okay? So what suckah does is that when we lock our patcher, it looks at the picture that's underneath it. So that reminds me to tell you, if you don't see lines on top of this, you'll have to go up to arrange and say, bring it to the front. But we don't have to bring it to the front right now. It's already at the front. So there you go. So here, so if we click on white, you notice this thing went up to white, and now it's all the white that we can see the background through. And we can probably turn the tolerance down significantly if we want to get a little bit better, what would you call it? A finer resolution on here. And now we'll click on the yellow, and now we have to turn the tolerance back up to get the other yellows that have shadows on them and whatnot. And you can adjust that as you need to. Whoops, went a little too far. So literally almost through the whole thing now, any place that's yellow, you can now see the movie behind here. So with that working so beautifully, we can try out that last prepend object, which would be, I'm going to just grab both of these and option click them, connect this one, and call this one, whoops, I'm sorry, clicking on the wrong thing, and call this one fade. Was it fade? Fade. Doesn't sound right. Let me just click on Chromakey, go over here. Yes, it's fade. Fade amount. Okay. So here we go. So now it says fade, and we start turning fade up a little bit. Ah, I see, I see. It's not actually the one I thought. I thought this one was the sort of edge feathering tool, but I guess you have to use tolerance for that. This is how much you can fade, probably from 0 to 1 all the way into the other one. So if you want to get parts of it there, negative, it'll go negative. So there you go. A little bit of fade too if you want to get a little bit of background in there. Let's just make sure that we can do this with another movie. I'm going to unlock my patcher, get another video out here, something more complicated. Let's see, or less complicated. I always think it's funny that this one's called Ozone. It's just a cat. Okay, come on, cat. And we turn on the loop. Whoops. We lock our patcher. Turn on the loop. We hit it. There we go. So we can click anything in this picture now. There's the floor. So I clicked the floor, but the tolerance is a little high. I'm going to turn the tolerance down. Way down. Yeah. And then now the floor starts showing, so I guess that's too low. So we would want to turn it up. But here things are very much the same color, but we can make the book clear now. You can see the book there. I imagine the bed. Yeah. So anything that... This is a little bit of a dark video, but so everything that's within that range seems to just be becoming clear. And then we can click on brighter colors like this paper here. And now we just have the bee coming through the book and these papers and whatever this is behind the cat. I guess the cat's been knocking papers on the floor. Something like that. Let's try one more. Something useful here. Well, here's a sort of a typical example of the green screen kind of stuff, which is really a blue screen. All we have to do is click here, and of course we get the bee in the background. And this guy, if I turn my volume up, you can... Oh, little bee. You're so pretty. So, and we can click in here and say, oh, well, what about the pink on his head? That's right. We can get the pink on his head now. And if we turn the tolerance up a little more, we might be able to get his whole face. Maybe. At some point it'll start grabbing the blue too. But oh, that's nice and creepy. Right? So there you go. And I guess all that really remains to... I'm just seeing if the feathering... Wow, you really have to crank it up. So feathering, you probably have to... I'm sort of checking out how far you have to push the number to get it to do what you want. Because I thought just the last thing we would do here, as we often do... Maybe I'm going to turn my volume down. That's really what I'm going to do. There. Is just, you know, arrange this a little bit real quick. You know how I like to clean up real quick, so and then we just need to know that our I'm just holding the shift key down to keep this thing straight. I haven't even and then we could make a slider for we have the swatch, of course, but we could use a slider for the tolerance and the fade. And maybe we need a preset. So new slider. And what do we know we've got to do with sliders here? We've got to... What about horizontal sliders today? We need them to output, go to the inspector. We need them to float their output. I believe we decided that this one needed to have a range from 0 to about 10.0. Oops, that's 10.0. Don't use O's instead of zeros. Max takes that kind of stuff very seriously. And then we can always differentiate between our controls. So there's one, and I'm going to make another one just like it. Except it'll have a yellow thing. And we could even make a comment if we wanted that said TOL space space space, and what was the other one called? Fade. And we can put these over here. We can make the text color white. Also bold. Bold. Gotta click out here. Bold. There we go. You could just do these as separates, but I'm, you know, just so very lazy. There we go. And I know there was something else I want to put in there, but we can just make this work in the meantime. So we put this going all the way over to the tolerance one. We take this one going over to here. And we can actually just take this whole thing and put it in presentation mode, except for this because we don't want to see it. Oops. Take it out of presentation. Oh, you can't see it when it's locked anyway. Hold on, let me just check. Oh yeah, you can. So if you want to see this when it's locked, you can see it, but we don't want to see it. So, oh wait, no, I put it in presentation mode, and then we lock it, and it disappears. So everything is just fine. So this is our Chromakey effect, and it's just working great. We can see our tolerance here. I guess that's a little bit sensitive there at the bottom, but maybe it's bearable. And we could click somewhere else, turn the tolerance up. Woo! We can just get rid of that guy. Fade a little bit. Yeah. So, or we can choose colors at random that maybe will be a surprise to us. We don't know. Like, what if you have the tolerance way up and you're just selecting yellow? I don't know. Or pink. Or red. There he is, pink guy. Yep. All right. Well, Mr. B face. All right, people. That is Chromakey, a somewhat complicated multi-input effect. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.